Well, welcome back to beautiful Goodyear, Arizona. We're getting set for Major League Baseball action between the Indians and the Los Angeles Angels. Let's take a look at our starting lineups, brought to you by the King of Beers, Budweiser, the great American lager. Leading things off for Mike Scioscia's Angels is third baseman Sean Figgins. Batting second at second base, Howie Kendrick. Bobby Abreu, in his first year with the Angels, coming over from the Yankees, will play left field and bat third. Hitting fourth, the designated hitter, Vladimir Guerrero. Hitting fifth in center field is Torrey Hunter. Kendry Morales is at first base, batting sixth. Hitting seventh in right field, Gary Matthews Jr. Batting eighth for the Angels and catching is Jeff Mathis. And batting ninth and playing shortstop, Maicer Izturis. For the Indians, leading things off, the second baseman, Jamie Carroll. Batting second at third base is Mark DeRosa. Victor Martinez will catch and bat third. Hitting fourth, the DH, Travis Hafner. Batting fifth in right field, Shin-Soo Choo. Hitting sixth, the first baseman, Ryan Garco. Batting seventh is David DeLucci in left field. Hitting eighth and playing center field is Ben Francisco. And batting ninth, the shortstop, Wilson Valdez. Scott Lewis on the mound. He is making his fourth start of the spring. He is 1-1 with a 3.52 ERA and going up against switch hitting Sean Figgins. And the first pitch of the contest is a called strike, and we are underway. First pitch at 106. And our game time temperature is 78 degrees. Here's the 0-1, and a fastball off the outside corner evens the count on Sean Figgins at 1 ball and 1 strike. Figgins, a .276 hitter last year in just 116 games. And now waits for the 1-1 pitch, and he lines one past the outstretched glove of the shortstop Valdez. That ball goes out into left field, and it's a leadoff single for the Angels as Sean Figgins takes a big turn at first and heads back to the first base bag. That'll bring up second place hitter Howie Kendrick. Talking to Mike Scioscia prior to the ball game, and he talked at length about the two young players that they hope and truly believe will become all-star caliber players, and one of those players is the young man coming to the plate, Howie Kendrick, who's hit .300 in each of his last two seasons. Last year a .306 hitter as he takes a pitch low and away for ball one. In 96 games, or 92 games, I should say, hit .306 with 3 home runs and 37 runs batted in. Lewis looks over to the runner, Sean Figgins, who takes a modest lead at first and now delivers, and it's under the knees, 2 balls and no strikes. Defensively for the Indians, you got Garco at first base, Carroll at second, Valdez at short, and Mark DeRosa is at third, with DeLucci in left field, Francisco in center. Shin-Soo Choo is in right field with Martinez catching. And Lewis 2-0 to right-handed hitting second baseman Howie Kendrick. And he's just off the outside part of the plate. 3 balls and no strikes. On deck is left fielder Bobby Abreu. We're in the top of the first inning. Sean Figgins, a leadoff single, stands at first base. Of course, no score. The 3-0 pitch is in there for a called strike, and it's 3-1. Calling the balls and strikes here today is Delphin Colon. The base umpires first to third is Paul Schreiber, Jim Wolf, and John Tampani. Lewis, the left-hander out of Ohio State, a third-round pick by the Indians in the 2004 June draft. Needs a strike, and he leaves that pitch high and inside, ball 4. So the first two have reached here against the left-hander Scott Lewis, and now left fielder Bobby Abreu. Abreu, another outstanding, a very consistent year. He is truly one of the most consistent players in all of baseball. Last year with the Yankees, a .296 batting average with 20 home runs. He drove in 100. He scored 100. Of course, this guy has appeared in at least 150 games in each of the last 11 seasons. He has had at least 20 stolen bases in the last 10 good seasons. He is a mark of consistency. And he takes a first pitch, a cold strike, and it's 0-1. Vlad Guerrero is on deck. Runners at first and second. We are scoreless top of the first inning with nobody out. Of course, the Los Angeles Angels last year won 100 games. That was the best record in Major League Baseball. As the fastball is under the knees. 1-1 strike on the left-handed hitter, Bobby Abreu. With 2 on and nobody out. The 100 wins for the Angels marked the first time in franchise history that ever happened. Lewis comes to the belt and now comes to the plate, and here's a long fly ball hit back into deep left field. A long run by DeLucci makes the catch. Here's Figgins tagging. He's moving to third, and he's going to be in ahead of the throw. Heads up base running by Sean Figgins as he tagged up immediately. A nice running catch by David DeLucci as he made the catch about maybe 10 feet away from that left field line, and he made a perfect throw to third, but just a little bit late to gun down Sean Figgins. And so the Angels have runners at first and third with 1 out, and truly one of the great players among active players in Major League Baseball, Vlad Guerrero, who comes in with 392 career home runs. They're on the corners with 1 out, scoreless tie, top of the first. Scott Lewis kicks and deals, and a big swing and a miss, and it's 0-1 on Guerrero. He was trying to put that ball out on Interstate 10, which is about 3 miles from here. No balls and 1 strike. The wind slightly blowing out to left field here at Goodyear Ballpark. Lewis looks in for the sign. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Guerrero, and he fouls it away, and it's 0-2. Vlad Guerrero, amongst active players, has the most career home runs with a .320 or better batting average, career batting average, amongst active players. And he has the second most hits in the major league since 1998. Here's the 0-2 pitch, and it's grounded hard down the left field line, just foul. Count remains no balls and 2 strikes on Vladimir Guerrero, the designated hitter, cleanup hitter today for the Angels. You got Torrey Hunter on deck. First and third, 1 out, no score. There's Guerrero trailing. We were talking about the second most hits in Major League Baseball since 1998, trailing Jeter. As he swings and he misses at a high curveball, a gutsy pitch by left-hander Scott Lewis. And down goes Vladimir Guerrero on strikes. 2 down in the inning, and now the 8-time Gold Glove winning center fielder, Torrey Hunter.
Los Angeles, the center fielder, Torrey Hunter.
Hunter in his first year with the Angels last season, a .278 hitter with 21 home runs and 78 RBIs. Hunter has struggled so far this spring. Is just 4 for 24, and the first pitch pushes him off the inside part of the plate, pushes him out of the batter's box, but it was called a strike, and it's 0-1. Good hard fastball that time by Lewis. Torrey hitting 167, but he's driven in 5 runs. He has had 2 doubles. That one's hammered foul, and it's 0-2. Of course, Torrey Hunter making the most of those 4 hits with 2 doubles and 5 RBIs. On deck, Kendry Morales. First and third. With 1 out and the pitch. And here's a swing and a long drive down the left field line. That ball's going to bounce over the fence, and a ground rule double allows Sean Figgins to score, and the Angels draw first blood on a 2-out, 2-strike ground rule double to left field by Torrey Hunter. That'll put runners at second and third with 2 out. And the Angels lead it 1-0, and the batter is going to be first baseman Kendry Morales. Morales, a product of Cuba. He was a gold medal winner for the Cuban national team in 2004. He's a switch hitter, batting right-handed against the left-hander, and the first pitch to him is in there for a called strike. It's 0-1. Gary Matthews Jr. is on deck for the Angels. Infield and outfield pretty much straight away on a young man who was very impressive in a short stint down in Cuba. In fact, they made comparisons to him to maybe a Tony Perez or an Omar Linares, who was a great Cuban player, and then he believed that he was going to be a national hero down there, but he defected to the Dominican Republic, became a citizen there, as the 0-1 pitch is left high, and it's 1-1. Got his citizenship there and then was granted a visa to come over to the United States, signed a long-term contract with the Angels. He struggled last year, hit only .213 in 27 games, but this is a young man that Mike Scioscia feels is going to be a guy that's going to hit a lot of home runs and drive in a lot of runs at this level. That one is fouled out of play, and the count is 1-2 strikes on Kendry Morales. We're in the top of the first inning. The Angels lead it by a score of 1-0. They have runners at second and third with 2 out. And Morales having a great spring so far, hitting .382 with a couple of home runs, 9 RBIs. He has scored 13 times. And the 1-2 pitch from Lewis is left high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So Kendrick with a short lead at third. Torrey Hunter with his ground rule double a moment ago, giving the Angels the first run of the contest. He's at second. The 2-2 pitch to the switch-hitting first baseman is swung on and missed, and down he goes, and the inning is over. But in the inning, the Angels get a run. On 2 hits, they leave 2. Scott Lewis strikes out a pair in the inning. And after a half an inning of play, it's the Angels 1 and the Indians coming up. Well, welcome back to Goodyear Ballpark. We're heading now to the home half of the first inning. The Angels with a 1-0 lead. It'll be Jamie Carroll, Mark DeRosa, and Victor Martinez to face the right-hander Nick Adenhart out of Silver Springs, Maryland, 6'3", 200 pounds. And the right-hander's first pitch to Jamie Carroll is a just under the knees, ball 1. Carroll, a .277 hitter a year ago. A home run, 36 RBIs, appeared in 113 games, a very versatile player. And Adenhart has fallen behind 2 balls and no strikes. Adenhart, 9-13 at AAA Salt Lake City last year with a 5.76 ERA. 2-0 pitch is outside, 3-0. This is a big start for him because the injuries to Mike Scioscia's rotation here to start this season it's certainly been at the point of devastation. 3-0 pitch. And he left that one high, ball 4. Control has always been a problem with Nick Adenhart. We mentioned 9-13 with a 5.76 ERA and 26 starts last year at AAA. They brought him up for 3 starts to the parent club. He had 3 starts, appeared in just 12 innings, and walked 13 batters and gave up 18 hits. He was 1-0, but had a 9 ERA. So if he's got fairly good control, if he's not walking a lot of players, as Mark DeRosa takes the first pitch, a high curveball, and it's 1 ball and no strikes on the former Cub. If he's got pretty good control, he's a fine pitcher. But when he is working out of the strike zone, Katie bar the door. Here's a quick throw down to first after the next pitch missed outside. And Mark DeRosa is ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. And now a quick meeting of the minds as Mathis goes out and Sean Figgins talks to their starting pitcher, who has thrown 6 straight balls here to start the bottom half of the first inning. If he has a good start here today, Mike Scioscia says that he is going to be a front runner for one of those 5 starting spots in his rotation. And of course, we're only 9 days away from opening day, so decisions need to be made. Here's a swing and a foul at the plate, and the count is 2 balls, 1 strike on Mark DeRosa, who's hitting .273 this spring, but had a great year last year with the Cubs, where he hit .285, a career year with 21 home runs and 87 runs batted in. 2 balls and 1 strike on the right-handed hitting third baseman with a runner at first and nobody out. And it's high and tight, 3-1. 1-0 Angels here in the bottom half of the first inning. On deck is Victor Martinez. Jamie Carroll with good speed at first. Here's the 3-1 offering, Adenhart to DeRosa. And a smash into center field, base hit. Torrey Hunter races over towards the gap. Here's Carroll moving to third, and they are on the corners thanks to a base hit by Mark DeRosa. They're on first and third with nobody out, and Victor Martinez, one of the true fan favorites, coming up. The switch hitting catcher will be batting left-handed against the right-hander Adenhart. Certainly Eric Wedge hopes that 2009 is going to be a healthier year for both Victor Martinez and the guy on deck, Travis Hafner. They lost tremendous production when these two guys went down with injuries. Infield playing at double play depth, and Martinez takes inside for ball 1. Martinez limited to just 73 games last year, where he hit .278 with a couple of home runs and 35 RBIs. And hitting .286 this spring with 3 homers and 9 runs batted in. And it's 2 balls and no strikes. So Adenhart falling behind, and that's going to prompt Mike Scioscia to come out and talk to his pitcher. Defensively for the Angels, it's Kendry Morales at first base with Howie Kendrick at second. Torres is at shortstop, and Sean Figgins is at third. In left field for the Angels, Bobby Abreu. Torrey Hunter is in center field. Gary Matthews Jr. is in right. Doing the catching, Jeff Mathis, and right-hander Nick Adenhart on the mound. Well, prior to the 2008 season, the injury-riddled season for Victor Martinez, the prior 4 years, Martinez averaged over 20 home runs and nearly 100 RBIs a year. So they probably lost at least 55, 60 RBIs from Martinez last year, and probably lost 70, 75, maybe more out of Travis Hafner as the 2-0 pitch is fouled off. I'll tell you, Martinez was sitting dead red fastball, and he missed it. He knew Adenhart needed a strike. He knew his coach came out to tell him to throw a strike, and he still didn't get it. So it's 2 balls and 1 strike on the Cleveland catcher. Bottom half of the first inning, 1-0 lead for the Angels. Here's a ground ball to Figgins, hit right to him, and he's coming home with it, and Carroll is gunned down. Well, a fine heads-up play by the Los Angeles third baseman, Sean Figgins, as Martinez, batting left-handed, going the other way with it. A 2-hop ground ball that Figgins came up firing, and it wasn't even close. And to be quite honest, not very good base-running decision-making there by Jamie Carroll. So it's a 5-2 fielder's choice. Runners are at first and second with 1 out. And here's big Travis Hafner out of Jamestown, North Dakota. 6'3", 240-pounder, and he had a big cut at the first pitch, and he fouls it off. No balls and 1 strike. Well, Hafner, we mentioned a tough 2008. You go back to 2006, this guy was truly one of the most feared hitters in the American League. He had 42 homers, drove in 117 runs, hit .308 that year. Slider down low. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike on the left-handed hitting Travis Hafner with Shin-Soo Choo on deck. Angels lead 1-0, but the tying run is at second. The go-ahead run is at first for the Indians. In fact, in 2005, Hafner finished third in the most valuable player award balloting as he lines that one out of play. Kind of tardy on a high fastball, 1-2. So Aiden Hart has been behind on 3 of the first 4 that he has faced, but is ahead here against Travis Hafner with first and second occupied and 1 out. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Aiden Hart comes in 1-0 with a 4.05 ERA, and here's a dribbler up the third base line foul, making his 5th start. Check that, his 4th start of the spring. He has appeared in 5 games now, 13 innings, has given up 12 hits, 6 runs, all earned. Has struck out 10. But as we said, this is a guy that has had major control problems, but coming into today's game, only 2 walks in 13 1/3 innings. So he has done a great job, but he's going up against a pretty good lineup here for Cleveland. He should score a lot of runs in 2009. The 1-2 offering. Swung on and missed, and he struck him out. So he goes down on a 1-2 slider that bit down and underneath the hands of the big, strong left-handed hitting Travis Hafner, and now will face, I think, one of the up-and-coming players in the American League, Shin-Soo Choo. He was a .309 hitter a season ago with 14 home runs and 66 runs batted in. He's got runners at first and second as the Indians bat here in the home half of the first, and Aiden Hart's first delivery to Choo is taken for a strike. It's 0-1. Angels 1, Cleveland nothing. Bottom half of the first with 2 out. Runners are at first and second. Outfield playing deep and pretty much straight away on the left-handed hitting right fielder. And he comes up empty-handed on the next pitch, and it's quickly 0-2. He's having a good spring so far, .333 with a couple of home runs and 7 RBIs. He's got a tremendous throwing arm out there in right field as he gets set for the 0-2 pitch from Aiden Hart, and that one is lined foul and out of play down the left field line. And the count remains on Shin-Soo Choo at no balls and 2 strikes with first baseman Ryan Garco waiting on deck. Now, he came up with those numbers last year in just 93 ball games. Scored 68 runs in just 94 ball games. As the next pitch is under the knees for a ball, and it's 1-2. He also belted 28 doubles, 3 triples, and 14 homers. I mean, this is a young man. He continues to develop. He's going to be a 5-tool player with his great defense. He's going to steal some bases, and he's going to hit for power. The 1-2 offering is just inside, and the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Runners are at first and second. Bottom half of the first inning. The Indians trying to equalize against the Los Angeles Angels, who put up a run in the top of the first inning on an RBI double by center fielder Torrey Hunter. The 2-2 pitch. And Shin-Soo pops it up into shallow left field. His tourist out, shielding the sun with his glove hand, and reaches up to make the catch, and that retires the side. In the inning, no runs. 1 hit, 2 left on. We have played 1 inning of play from Goodyear Park. It's the Angels 1 and the Tribe nothing.